for watching Numbskull News. And if you notice, there's a lot of red around me. That should give you a clue this is going to be a bit of a rant video about the Shedeur Sanders controversy, him falling to the 5th round. First off, because I'm going to start off with race. So, I am a redneck, but I'm only half a redneck. I'm also half Hispanic. All right, not that that should matter, but I thought I should throw that out there in case you want to come at me for just being another white boy talking shit. Just want to put that out there. Because I do have a few black gentlemen who follow me on X, who watch my videos, and I have a lot of respect for them and their opinions. I treat them like I would treat anybody else here or anywhere. I have black people in my family that I am blood related to. So there's not a lot of room for racism in my family. Now, I come from a long line of racists. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean on the Hispanic side too. I mean, it gets around. But there are people trying to make this Shedeur Sanders thing about race. These are liars. These are race hustlers. These people are full of shit. I have no idea what it's like to be black and deal with all of that. Don't know. But I'm going to tell you this right now. In a world where the 7th black quarterback has been drafted number 1 this very year, and last year as well, don't talk to me about race. When you had black quarterbacks go ahead of Shedeur in this draft, in the same world where Dak Prescott, not the most talented quarterback, barely a top 10 guy, is the highest paid quarterback in the league. Patrick Mahomes. Last time I checked, he's a black quarterback. He qualifies. There's, as a matter of fact, in last year's Super Bowl, there was 2 black quarterbacks. Did anyone really care about that? No, because that wasn't the first time you had 2 black quarterbacks facing off in the Super Bowl. This crap is tiresome. It's tiresome and it's stupid and it needs to stop. Is racism still a thing in this country? Yes, it is. And there are times where talking about race in context of the NFL can still be relevant. You can still have a point. But with this, no. Let me tell you something. Red flags are a little bigger, bolder, and redder when you're a quarterback. This is what we found out. When you're talking teams like the Giants, who had their own private interview, workout, whatever, with Shedeur, and came away with, I think we're going with Jackson Dart. That should tell you everything you want to know. Because say what you want about Shedeur. He's a big time name. He's a pretty damn big brand. And that can absolutely have dividends and pay dividends to a franchise. Because it's always about what? Exposure. The Giants want people to watch them. They want national stories. All of these teams do. They can't all get it, but they want it. This is why Jimmy Haslam from the Browns finally did draft Shedeur Sanders. Puts a spotlight on this shitty franchise. Who just traded up for Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round. This is why the Browns suck. The race thing, easy to discard. Here's another stupid ass thing I heard. And, probably the most recognizable name to throw this out was Stephen A. Smith. But he wasn't the only one. There was collusion. There was collusion. The whole freaking league, 32 owners, all got together somewhere on a conference call or whatever. And everyone said the same thing. Do not touch the guy for 5 rounds. You expect me to believe that shit? I mean, why? Most of the NFL did not have a quarterback need. Not a pressing one. They just didn't. The few teams that actually did need a quarterback, all right, and this was not a great year for quarterbacks. Cam Ward's going number 1 overall. It's a good quarterback. It's a good story. In most drafts, I talk about quarterback heavy drafts where there's a lot of talent. Cam Ward ain't going number 1 overall. He's probably going bottom of the first round. Let's just be honest about it. Hey, wish the kid well. Got nothing against him. And by the way, I don't have anything against Shedeur. I'm a Deion Sanders fan. I like him. And I've heard his kid speak. He seems like a good kid. Like a legitimately good kid. But is he brash? Is he a lot like his dad? Talks a lot of shit? Yeah. The apple ain't falling that far from the tree. Not in the Sanders backyard. Now, one of the problems is, and let's get to why he actually fell. It's not race. It wasn't all of these owners getting together and colluding. They thought he was just a no-brainer, number 1 overall pick. And if he did slide, he would slide maybe to 8 or 9 or something, right? And if the worst case scenario, bottom of the first. That's what they thought. Worst case scenario. That's the first mistake. And the problem is they didn't have a professional agent representing this kid. There's a big mistake. He can go around and talk to some people. So when Shedeur goes in and tanks the first interview, and yes, I absolutely believe he crapped all over the interview process. Now, some people say it was sandbagging. He did it on purpose because they didn't want certain teams to draft him. I don't know all that, because why in the hell would you be excited about going to Cleveland? But it's neither here nor there. The media that covers, talking about the big time guys who cover the NFL, I got a lot more respect for them than I do the big time guys who cover college football. Number 1, it's easier to cover the NFL. It's one league versus a bunch of different ones. One league with 32 teams in it. They've been around for a long time, and a lot of those guys, a lot of those insiders have been around for decades. So, it's also, let's just call it what it is. It's some of the best sports reporting on the planet. You got really solid guys. So when they're saying, oh no, that the interviews went horrible, you can bank it. You could absolutely, and that has come from multiple sources, multiple outlets, big time guys. So if they say he tanked these interviews, whether on purpose or he just sucks at it, didn't prep, none of that, then it's true. And a real agent would have had his client prepping for months for those interviews, for the workouts, everything. The biggest of the big quarterback prospects, every one of them, not just this year, but any year, they treat those interviews like an interview. They're trying to get a job. And yeah, they all know, they got agents saying, yeah, oh yeah, you're going to go, you should go number 1. But here's the thing. They want their guy to go number 1, number 2, definitely top 5. They want to be in the top money, right? So they're going to prep and prep and prep and spend money and spend time and put forth effort so they can get max dollars in that draft. Because it's a sliding scale. The further down you go, the less money you make. Real easy. Higher up you go in the draft, the more money you make. And what happened with Shedeur cost him tens of millions of dollars. All because they didn't think they needed a prep. But Shedeur isn't as talented at his position as Dion was in his. Let's just be really, really frank about that. He's good. He's got some really good numbers. There's a lot of quarterbacks out there that have really good numbers who bury Shedeur's numbers, and they got to the league, and the best they could ever do is be a backup, break in case of emergency type of guy. It is what it is. And I don't need to run through their names. You know them. If you're a college football fan, if you're an NFL fan, you know those guys. Whether they once played at Boise State or once played at Texas Tech or wherever, that put up monster numbers in college, go to the NFL. And you know, they're not an NFL quarterback. I'm not saying that's Shedeur. All right. He doesn't have a rag arm, but it's not the strongest arm. He is accurate. Like it or not, he is accurate. He holds that damn ball too much. And to me, it looked like at times he doesn't really feel the rush very well. So there are some problems, some natural problems and some bad habits, like holding the damn ball way too long. He's not the first quarterback to do that. But when you're getting 10 plus yard sacks, 15, 20 yard sacks every game, that's not good. Now, the way to overcome the red flags as far as in the draft process is to put your best foot forward. Where? In the interviews. Let them know you're prepared. Let them know you know your shit and you take it seriously. I know the things I need to work on. And if you find some more, cool. You know who killed the interview process by all accounts? Who just nailed it and was awesome? Milroe. Who went ahead of Shedeur. And everyone's like, oh. And this is what drives me nuts. You see the freaking ESPN guys shitting all over Dylan Gabriel, shitting all over Milroe. Oh, yeah, there's no way they would have went ahead. There's no way they should go ahead of Shedeur. Well, who just won the Super Bowl? Someone whose play style, especially in college, looked a lot like Mr. Milroe. So, and when you got a guy who comes in and is basically saying, hey man, light me up with everything you got, the things I need to work on, there's plenty of things I need to work on, but I'm willing to put in the freaking work. I am here to be your starter. You know, and they see that he put in work. He's a great interview, great kid. They like him. Many of these teams said, oh, well, let's go ahead and circle this kid because we like him. He is a solid kid. He's got problems. He's got red flags, not off the field, but, you know, in his play, because he's got a big arm, and the dude's he's huge and he's fast, really fast. I think he ran like a 4.3 40. Insane. So there's a lot to like with Milroe. Now, if you're an Alabama fan, maybe some of the hangers on, some of the shit you didn't quite like, you know, there may have been some rough fits, but in an interview process, you're like, hey man, I made some mistakes in college. Maybe I listened to the wrong people somewhat. I got a little full of myself, but I saw how it finished for me in Alabama, and I want more than that. We shouldn't have been left out of the playoffs. That's on me. I take that personal. I'm sure it was stuff like that. And these guys eat it up. These NFL guys, they eat it up when a kid is self-aware, knows his strengths, knows his weaknesses, especially his weaknesses, not only knows them, acknowledges them, and is willing to put in the time, effort, and work to erase those things. But when you come into the draft process and you're not prepared and you're kind of aloof, well, they're looking at you like, whoa, what makes this guy so much more of a better prospect than Mr. Milroe? He's a lot smaller. Now, I will say this. You watch the tape, you know Shedeur Sanders, it's a tough-ass kid. He got lit up quite a bit, hit hard, always got up, came back for more. He's got balls. Like I said, I personally like the kid. And if it's true that Cleveland plans on cutting him later, hey, Cowboys, my team, I would love for them to pick him up. It's a cheap option. Let him learn behind Dak. You spent a 5th round pick on another kid from the Giants. I mean, people would, you may say, well, it's kind of a full quarterback room, but it's not that impressive of one. So yeah, put him in the process. If anything, maybe he can make the practice squad. I know that's a far cry from, being a star quarterback in college, but take what you get right now. As I said, I have nothing against this kid. There's just some real dumb shit said and done during the draft process. And these guys, these franchises, you're talking millions of dollars. They take it really, really seriously. Especially at the quarterback position. So no, it has nothing to do with the color of the man's skin. It wasn't collusion. We got to teach this family a lesson. We got to teach Dion a lesson. You think Jerry loves Dion, loves him. He ain't trying to teach him a lesson. The Cowboys are paying out the ass for Dak Prescott. They just spent a 5th round pick or 4th round pick to go get another kid from another team. So they're not looking. Jerry wasn't going to take part in that. Most of these franchises weren't. It wasn't even going to be an option anyway. I mean, we're not talking about a prospect like Andrew Luck, who was just a can't miss. No one said that about about Shedeur. Maybe that's a Freudian slip. You keep saying Dion. And Dion's not made it easy for his kid. I think if you want to blame anybody, you're going to have, and I'm a Deion Sanders fan, but I think Dion screwed this kid up. Screwed his chances. As far as being drafted higher than the 5th round, it falls on Dion. It's not on race. It's not on the league. It's not any of that. It's Dion being a little too braggadocious. Thinking he had something in his son that clearly he doesn't have. It's not, like I said, it's not an Andrew Luck kind of thing where you knew. Oh, if you pass on this kid, you're insane. And one more thing about Mel Kiper and his dumbass rant. What a hypocrite. What an absolute... Well, these guys can't evaluate quarterbacks. Hey, 50 years NFL screwed up evaluating quarterbacks. Really? Really? All the shit you've got right? I remember this jackhole, all right, draft night several years ago. The Cowboys moved down to the bottom of the 1st round, like pick 30. And who do they choose? They choose Travis Frederick. And that was the first pure center, drafted that year. Also the best center in the draft that year. What did Mel Kiper say? Oh, what ridiculous, horrible. Gave the Cowboys like an F grade. Why? Because you could have got him at the bottom of the 2nd, even the top of the 3rd. That's what he said. Oh, well, I stand by that. He has no clue. These guys don't know who's getting picked and picked where. And with all of the linemen that came off the board that year, a ton of them, And I remember this is burned into my brain. Frederick wasn't going to last to the bottom of the second round. Wasn't happening. Not the best center left. Not the best center left. The best graded center that year. I mean, the tackles have been picked clean, the top guys. Most of the guards have been picked. You could easily see in the second round a run on centers coming off. And the Cowboys traded down, got ahead of that, and got their guy, who turned out to be the best center in the NFL for several years until injury took him out. Or some kind of ailment, freak show ailment he had that ended his career. But even from his rookie year, you could easily say he was like a top 3 center. His rookie year, after that, the best. Even if you're a Cowboy hater, you'd have to admit Frederick was at least the second best center in the league. If you're biased. But truth be told, he was the best. But that's Mel Kiper. That's Mel Kiper. I'm not saying he doesn't study players and all this shit, but he doesn't really know, oh, these are the best available. According to who? Mel Kiper? He ain't never built a team in his life. Kiss my ass, Mel Kiper. Don't know shit. I mean, there has been a plethora of quarterbacks that Mel Kiper just knew. Stamp of approval. That just shit the bed. Never saw the field. Or if they did, they were horrible. They never got better. Lifetime backup quarterbacks. Or just 4 years and out. Oh, Mel Kiper said that was going to be the guy. Kiss my ass, Mel Kiper. You know this shit ain't an exact science. Oh, they have it improperly evaluated. Bitch, there are 32 teams that have people smarter, harder working, and with more knowledge than Mel Kiper. All 30, even the Browns have better people than Mel Kiper. So kiss my ass, Mel. There's your rant, biatch. Anyway. I don't care if Cleveland cuts him. I don't care if the Cowboys or someone else picks him up. If this kid is willing to bust his ass and prove all the doubters wrong, he can make up for bad decisions during the draft process. And he can get paid. He can have a great career. He's got the tools. He can do it. But will he? That's the challenge that lays before him, and we'll find out. Anyway, thanks for watching this crap. I'll be back with some more crap later. Bye.